What's up everyone, Robbie from The Warren here again. If you missed my video from last week, I basically just did a drum cover to keep you entertained while everyone's on lockdown, because it can be pretty boring. Yeah. But this week I thought I'd focus on what I think I do best, which is graphic design and digital art. So using my little home studio setup that I've got back here, I'm going to walk you through some of the most frequently asked questions that I get of how to do on Photoshop. Don't worry if you don't have Photoshop, because what I'm going to do is link below to some free and cheap software so you can follow along at home, and hopefully it gets you through this bank holiday weekend. So without further ado, here we go. Right, so this is Photoshop. Most of the free to use things are going to look the same as this. You have what's called an artboard. All I've done here is taken an image from Google, one that I think will work well for this tutorial, and just pasted it in. So essentially, what we're trying to do here is remove this blue background because it's a bit boring. We want to stick the character who's playing a virtual reality game into a bit more of a different situation, different scene that might make it look a bit better. So we're going to pick some sort of futuristic scene here. Again, I'm just going to do this super quick. This is how I started out learning Photoshop. Just something as simple as this really kind of helped me learn bigger and better skills later down the line and increase the quality of my artwork. So tons of different ways that you can go about doing this. There's selection tools up here, lots of different options, lots of different ways you can zoom right in, and we could be really detailed with it, or we could just do it kind of broad and basic. So for now, we're just going to pick what they call the magic wand tool, and basically I'm just going to click on an area of the image that I want to select, and that has automatically selected all of this blue bits of this image. It hasn't quite picked up the shadowy areas down here, and it hasn't picked up these areas down here because our arm is blocking the selection from getting there. So what I'm going to do is hold down the shift key. I'm going to click down here to select the rest of the areas. I'm going to click in here, just get these little bits near our hands and all of this area here, and there's a tiny little bit there in a bracelet where the strap is connecting, and on the right edge of the screen, and yeah, there we go. So what I'm going to do now, here's your layers down here. You can see I've got a background layer selected, which is just white, and I've got this image selected. So I'm just going to press the delete button, and all that's going to do is remove the background from the image. There's obviously little bits here that it's missed, because again, we're just doing this quickly. If I was going to quickly correct them, I would just pick the eraser tool, which is here, and I would just scrub out some of these areas really quickly just to make it less rough around the edges. And there's some up here as well where a hair, there's like finer sort of elements of the image that would require us sort of zooming way in and picking out the sort of individual hairs. That's how complicated it can sometimes get. So anyway, that's cleared it up. I'll just go back so you can sort of see the difference I've made there. Just cleaned it up a little bit for you. So what I'm going to do now is go over to Google. I'm just going to pick a futuristic background, and I'm going to paste that into here. So this is our background. It's pasted itself onto the top layer, as you can see down here. What I'm going to do is drag that behind the image, and then now she's in some sort of futuristic setting. So here's where the fun starts really. You can start manipulating this however you want. There's tons and tons of different options. I'm going to add a little drop shadow behind her, and then there you go. A little bit more interesting, something that you can work on. Like I say, the free to use software that I'll link down below is all pretty much the same, and there's tutorials on those as well. I know this was quick. I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can. As we get on, I will go a bit more in depth into kind of better techniques to be able to do this at home and on free software. So that's all I've got for you this week. Basically, it's the bank holiday weekend tomorrow. 4 days to just relax. I know it's a bit hard being stuck at home, but try and chill out. Try and keep your mind off what's going on out there. But most of all, stay well, stay safe, stay indoors, and I'll catch you next week.